I promised you a rebuild. This is going to be the mother of all rebuilds. Hello and welcome to a non-league to legend transfer special non-league to legend extra extravaganza thing with Bristol Rovers. I'm Kev. We are playing a game on this as well. We haven't actually finished the season. You'll know from yesterday's episode we secured safety, but we did it with a game to spare. So we are going to play our final game of the season against Ipswich. We're then going to have a review of the season, get an idea of what we're going to be wanting to do over the summer, and then we're going to have our summer. You're going to see the transfers as they transpire. This is going to be another one of those. That is a big, long episode. I obviously don't know how long it's going to be when we're starting things off. If it's less than an hour and a half, I'm going to be quite surprised. There's a lot to do. If that intimidates you, if you don't want to watch a full hour and a half, worry not. You're not actually going to miss out on anything if you just give this one a miss and come back for the next regularly numbered non-league to legend episode. I'll do a summary of all the transfers on there and we'll start the next season from there. This is really for those of you who want to get down into the nitty gritty, get stuck into the detail, see how the summer transpires, see what we could have signed but missed out on, see what bids we turned down, and really have a proper behind the scenes of how a summer looks at Bristol Rovers for us. So I'm now going to press the continue button to get forward to that Ipswich game. We're going to play that. We're going to review the season, and then we've got no money, but we need to sign a whole squad of new players. It's insane how many players we have to sign. So this is the team we're going with for our last day of the season. Then we are at home against Ipswich. It's pretty much the team we've been playing while we've kind of saved the season over recent games, picking up a few results here and there. I mean, yeah, it's great form in it, but it's the team we've been playing there. A lot of these are going to be leaving. It's going to be the last time you see Bender, Randall, last time you see Hackney, Tavernier, Bennett. But it's the first time you see this guy starting. We've talked about him before. He came through our youth team in the youth intake this summer or this spring. So he's only been at the club a couple of months, but he's 16 years old, 2.5-star current ability, which makes him almost as good as our options we've got there anyway. 5-star potential. This lad could be a Premier League player in his future. We want to give him his first start. So we'll have a look at Gabriel Itafia and decide whether we want to have him as part of our first team squad for next season. If he has a good game, obviously that's one less striker we need to go out and sign, because I think that all of the strikers that we've got are rubbish. So let's sign some that are better. I'm going to be fairly calm. I'm not bothered at all. In fact, we can avenge. So let's avenge, actually. Forget calmness. We're going to avenge. And we've got new boy up front to help us avenge it. They've got Ivan Toney up front. Posh striker extraordinaire playing in the Championship. That seems about right, based on recent performances in real life. We're just all eyes on, I can't remember his name, Itafia, is it? That is a lovely goal from Carl Bennett. Playing his final game for the club. He's just won, I think he finished second in Championship Player of the Month. But he's 31 and he's on a lot of money, and I don't really want him here. Because of that, I don't want to be building a team around old men, so we're going to be looking to free up a little bit of wage budget, move him on, unless, of course, we get a huge wage budget because, here's Itafia, first proper look at him, it's a decent chance. Very quick, wasn't he? I like the fact he's very quick. This could be lots of fun. I like a quick striker. But people have said, how are Bristol Rovers in such a financial mess? How were they able to pay Forest Green the compensation when they're £2 million in debt? I suspect what's happening here is they've budgeted for the season based on the Championship TV money they know is coming in now. So once the season ends, once the season ends, I hope it's a big bunch of cash that arrives. I don't know how much money you get for being in the Championship. I'm thinking £5 or £10 million would be nice. It's probably not anywhere near that. But I know when Posh got relegated from the Championship years ago, our chairman talked about it costing the club £10 million. So I guess part of that is attendance and stuff and sponsorship and things like that all go down. But there must be a significant chunk of TV rights money that goes to Championship clubs. And I assume it gets paid at the end of the season. So I'm hoping there's going to be a big bunch of money that turns up soon, which might change things. I have no idea what our budget is going to be like for next season, both for wages or transfers. I wouldn't be surprised if it was lower than what it is now, so no transfer money and an even lower wage budget. Equally, I wouldn't be that surprised if they gave me £10 million and doubled my wage budget, because the Championship is a strange place, and now we've survived in it for a year, they might be willing to commit a bit more money to saying it long term. Right, we're going to carry on trying to avenge. Etafia, not had the worst game in the world. He's not, I mean, we've not seen much of him. He had that one chance, but he's not looked any worse than any other striker that we played this season. It would just be really nice to see him grab a goal. I'd love to see him grab a goal on his first start for us. He got an assist on his first substitute appearance, which I'm pretty sure was in a video. I think you saw him do that. It would be very nice to see him grab a goal on his full debut. He's a non-league to legend, Emir Hughes. I remember having him maybe at Ipswich a couple of years ago. And he's at Ipswich now. Is he an actual Ipswich player in real life? I feel less clever about signing him if he's an actual Ipswich player in real life. We need to push on and try and get back into this game. Let's go a bit more positive. And Martin Kelly, I don't care about Martin Kelly and his crossing ability. Who cares? Right, are we oh God, we really are very bad at football. I don't understand how we stayed in this division. It's going to be, this rebuild job is going to be lots of fun, because I think if we sign less than 15 players, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. And I know that's not the sensible transfer policy I did at Forest Green last summer. It's more like the crazy one that ruined St Albans. But at least it's with a purpose this time. I'm going into it deliberately knowing that we need to replace most of the squad because they're either leaving or not good enough for this division. We don't have another left back on the bench. He can come off because he's only here on loan anyway. We don't need to see any more of him. You are going to have to play as a ball-winning midfielder, though, if you want to be part of my midfield. We haven't got room for roaming playmakers the way we're going to be playing next season. And that will do for now. And Etafia's nervous. Come on, let's get creative. Let's get the ball up to the youngster. I don't want him to be nervous. I want him to grab a goal. I'm going to leave him on for the entire game. I want him to score a goal because it would just make me very happy to see it happen. But there's Hughes again in midfield. He's determined to make me look silly. They are just knocking it around as if we're not even there. Bearing in mind, Ipswich are a team that are only just above us in the league. This is the kind of game that next season, if we're going to survive next season, we must be winning home games against the likes of Ipswich. Because if we don't, we will get relegated. And I don't think I'll see the end of the season to see us get relegated. If that happens, I think I'll be gone by Christmas. It's going to be very interesting to see what the board expectation is for next year. There's Carl Bennett again, but he's offside this time. That's going to be his final contribution to life in a Bristol Rovers shirt, probably, because I don't imagine he's going to do anything more today, and I certainly don't expect him to be here next season unless he takes a massive pay cut or we get offered a massive amount of wage money to throw at him. And we're all over the place. I do wonder how on earth they managed to get to mid-table before I arrived. What system could they possibly have been playing? Because whatever it is, I've never been able to come close to replicating it. Is Matt Smith getting sent off for a push? No, just a lecture. We didn't need to see it in a highlight then if it's just a lecture. Blow the final whistle, ref. We want to get on with the transfers. There we go. What a poor performance. Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. We'll have you in for training tomorrow, and I'm going to sack half of you. If only I could sack half of them, that would be amazing. Right, we getting budgets? No. I'll be back when we have budgets. Okay, so this is somewhere in between the two options that we talked about. I've been given no transfer budget at all, but I have got a wage budget that means we're no longer overspending. So there's no longer the incentive to panic sell. We do still need to move a lot of players on because what we've got isn't good enough and we're going to need to replace it. I want to see, there is a way to compare those budgets against the rest of the division, isn't there? I just don't remember what it is. Team detailed, is it this one? And we can look by, I'm sure there's a way to look by wage budget. It's on here somewhere. Finances, salary per annum. So Huddersfield are spending £35 million a year on salaries. We are spending $4 million. That is, forget being in mid-table when I arrived. That's your context about why we've been as poor as we are. The next lowest has got double the wage budget that we have. Ipswich, who we just played have 3 times as much money spent on wages as we have. We can't compete in this world. This is going to be a difficult summer of wheeler dealing. So, season review time. Let's have a look at what we've got here then. So this is the overall best 11. So it's weird that some of these loan players have made it into the overall best 11. So Bender, who's had... Oh no, he's been on loan for 2 years. Okay. I was going to say 1 year where he conceded 78 goals and that puts him as the best goalkeeper they've ever had. But no, he's been on loan for a couple of years. Can he have a third year? He's out of contract. So he's a player we need to keep an eye on. But most of the rest of this are players still at the club. The 2 centre-backs are. Bennett's in there. Rodman's still knocking around in our reserves. I don't think I ever played Alex Rodman because he's an old man. Circum in there as our Tavernier, who's presumably just been here for 1 year. Yeah, I mean, that, to be honest, in the Championship as well, that's not the worst season in the world. That's actually, looking at what he did for Middlesbrough the 2 previous years, that's a very surprising move that they even managed to get him on loan. But he did. And there's your strikers. End of season awards. Kyle Bennett gets player of the season. Every message is telling me, keep Kyle Bennett, Kev, keep Kyle Bennett. But look how much money he's on. And he's not very good. Kyle Bennett wins player of the season. Circum second, then Langton. Langton's going back to his parent club. Bennett also gets goal of the season. Matt Smith signing of the season. So even with all those loans and whatnot coming in, the one signing I did is Matt Smith, and he's our signing of the season. And Kieran Langton, young player of the season, but he is off back to Leicester. I mean, that, not good enough really for what I want from a striker. Season review then. We've been expected to be in a relegation battle, but we survived. Everyone's a winner. We've almost reached capacity on our attendance. Didn't use a huge amount of players. And our team leaders are Bennett, Circum and Tom Lockyer. Well, Bennett's going to be gone, as is... In fact, some of them will stick around. End of season team meeting then. It's got to be about trying to stay in the division again. So the season's finished now. I think we might be in for a relegation battle next year. You're going to need to battle hard to stay up. This season, what's the difference between that? Don't be under any illusions. We won't be in for another tough campaign. You need to come back ready to fight to stay up again. Yeah, that's the one. Hey, and Kyle Bennett, voice of the people, says I'm a genius. I might have to offer that lad a new contract. I don't really want to because he wants so much money. But we'll do our pre-season then. And now it's really going to be a case of waiting because we've got no money. I don't care about the youth category. I'm not going to be here long enough to worry about the youth category. We just need to wait for players to leave and then players to leave bigger clubs so that we can bring in free transfers. It's more than any other summer we've had. It's going to be a case of waiting for the 1st of July because there's nothing we can do until then. Here comes the money, or the first part of it anyway. Main kit sponsor, 3-year deal, nearly £1 million, up from £180,000 on the previous deal. Plus sold £500,000 off of shirts. There's money being generated. All of these figures are way up on the previous season, which has got to be good. And we've got our new scouting package as well. And there are a few players I'm keeping an eye on, particularly this guy who's out of contract with Brentford. I know that form has only been in League 2, but we brought him in at Forest Green and he was brilliant. I think he could probably make the step up. Looking at his scout reports, he'd be there or thereabouts in terms of quality with the rest of our players. But the important thing is he's that ball-winning midfielder on support who's going to charge forward, score lots of goals for us. He's out of contract. We are keeping a close eye on him. And as soon as we can offer a contract, we will be in there trying to bring in Josh Da Silva as my first signing of the summer. That's going to really not be that inspiring to Bristol Rovers fans, is it? But he's my kind of player and I want him. Here we go then. This is what I was expecting. So we've paid out over £1 million to our players to reward them for not getting relegated. But we have got nearly £5 million that's come in as part of the Championship's Solidarity Payment Scheme, which means our bank balance suddenly looks an awful lot healthier than it was before. I wonder if off the back of that we can now ask for a transfer budget. No. Well, at least the bank balance is now looking healthier. All the budgets are in line with where they're supposed to be. I'm less worried than I was before. And apparently Jonathan Henderson is going to be sticking around as well. So good news all round. Still can't make any offers for players yet because it's still May. This season finished very, very early. I'm just doing what I normally do. I've re-scouted all of the players who came up on the scout reports with a rating of over 65. We're re-scouting them. Here's a blast from the past. Seny Dieng has gone from above 65 to below. He's no longer on my radar, but we're just getting new scout reports for all of them. See, there's quite a few players from Forest Green who have got some decent scout reports. I did scout the entire Forest Green squad when I first left, but we're just trying to get up-to-date scout reports for as many players as we possibly can. Liam Shepherd's at Bolton now. So sad how that team was torn apart. But we're just looking for as many up-to-date scout reports as we can, for as many players as we possibly can. So as soon as players start to become available, once the 1st of July comes round, there's going to be a bunch of players that we don't have to go and scout or even offer trials to, because we've already scouted them thoroughly beforehand, so we can just offer them contracts and try and get a jump on all of the other teams who might be looking to do trials or things like that. So we're building quite a nice bunch of scouted players who are here. There's loads of them, absolutely loads of them. Obviously, the higher the scout rating, the higher up here they are. Ryan Glover, look, another blast from the past. Look at that price. If we were to try and buy Ryan Glover, he'd cost us over 12 million quid. He was a decent loan signing, wasn't he? He's still on loan at Forest Green for another year. Goodness me, I've given them an absolute beauty of a player there. Psh. But there's plenty of others on there that we can have a little look at. But really, unless they're available for free or players that we can bring in on loans, then they're not going to be an option. None of them are interested in loans. And, there's not... I mean, I don't know. We're a way away from having to make those kind of decisions yet. I still haven't offered anyone new contracts. There's going to be a lot of players leaving on the 1st of July as well. Right, we're trying to get a jump on these transfers. It's the 9th of June. We're able to offer transfers. We've already offered 2 contracts, actually. Josh Da Silva, hopefully, is going to be coming in. We've also got a goalkeeper to replace Bender, Elia Benedettini, who's at Teramo at the moment. I don't even know where that is. That is in the Italian lower leagues. But looking at our scout reports, he's a much better keeper than Bender is, or potentially better keeper than Bender. I mean, he wants £3,000. £3,000 seems okay. £3,000 a week. Let's see if we can get Bender actually as well while we're looking at goalkeepers, because I think Bender's contract is up. And let's have a look. Is your contract up, Stephen? It is. Let's see if we can sign you permanently. Make the Championship playoffs in 2 years' time. Yeah, we can promise you that. It seems like a mad thing to promise, but yeah, we can promise you that. Why not? Now let's go back to our scouted players, and we're literally looking to upgrade most of the squad. We absolutely need a striker. Jamie Vardy is interested in a transfer. I mean, we set a bit of a precedent for getting old men strikers down at Forest Green. Imagine if we brought Jamie Vardy into Bristol Rovers. We're surely not going to be able to pay him what he actually wants. No, we're not. It would have been fun. Not even close. I am no Saido Berahino as well. He's another option. The problem we've got is we've got no wage budget. We need to get rid of some players first. I noticed it there with Vardy. Straight away, I couldn't offer Vardy as much as I offered Da Silva because we're already over our wage budget for committed spending. So I might have to abandon this plan for a minute and go back to the plan of, right, we need to get rid of some players that we don't need. So let's get some players on some transfer lists. We've got a lot of deadwood we need to get rid of, and I've not actually gone through this process yet. So let's sort this by ability. We want to get rid of anyone who's old and not really good enough. So Joe Day falls into that category. We're paying him £1,000. To be honest, as a backup keeper, we might actually keep him around for a little while. Former posh keeper, or posh backup keeper, worth keeping around as a backup. But let's have a look at fullbacks. We're looking for anyone who's on a lot of money that isn't going to be a regular starter. An example of that, Daniel Liotti is on £3,000 a week, and he's not our best left back. We've got this youngster who's coming through who's almost as good as him. So Daniel Liotti, straight away, you can go onto our transfer list. We're going to offer you out to clubs. And we're not even worried about how much money we get in for him. We just want to get his wages off of our wage bill. So he's the first one as part of the clear out process that we're going to try and get rid of. Let's do the same thing at right back. So right backs, we've got Connor Randall, who's here on loan. We're paying him a lot of money at the moment to be in on loan. He's, to be honest, we could probably get him on loan for another season. We're not going to find a better right back than that. Can we get you on loan for another year? Don't want to loan to a divisional rival. So he's officially dead to us now. And we don't have another right back. So right back is an area of priority. Let's have a look at centre backs. So centre back, we've got Tom Lockyer and Kean Harris. We know they're our 2 best centre backs. They're on a lot of money, but they're our best centre backs. Remy Street as a backup. He's also on quite a lot of money, but I think the obvious one to get rid of is Pask, Josh Pask. Or do we get rid of Remy Street? Because £5,500 a week for a backup player is a lot. I think we could push Pask up to be our backup and probably sign a decent youngster. Let's, in the interests of generating some cash, let's get rid of Remy Street as well. Defensive midfield players. This is where we go. Midfield is where we've got a lot of a lot of stuff we don't need. We don't have anyone who's natural as a defensive midfielder. We'll come back to that. Central midfield players, and I know there are a lot of them. Hayden Hackney is our best one, but he's going to be going back to his parent club, which is Middlesbrough. Can we get him on loan for another season? Do we want to get him on loan for another season? I think we probably do. He's our best midfielder at the moment. If we can get him on loan for another year, they're looking to give him a chance in the first team. Well, in that case, he can leave. Matt Smith, we're definitely going to be keeping. Ollie Clark is old at 29, but I think we probably keep him around as well because he's relatively cheap. Liam Sercombe, though, at 32 on £8 a week, he's got a match highest earner clause as well, which is very problematic. We want rid of Liam Sercombe. We can't justify paying him the kind of money that he's being paid. So let's try and get him out of the club. Liam Sercombe is on the transfer list as well. Jacob Maddox doesn't really fit into the way that I want to play. When he's in midfield, he wants to be a roaming playmaker. He wants to be an attacking midfielder and we don't use one, and he's not very good on either wing. So I think actually he's another player who we don't need him. Let's get rid of him. And we're just trying to slim down the squad as much as we possibly can. On players, there's a lot of players here that aren't really necessary. It's a very big squad full of players that aren't very good. Right, left wingers. Marcus Tavernier. Are we going to be able to get him for another year? He's actually out of contract with Middlesbrough. I would definitely like to keep him. Can we offer him enough money, though? That's going to be the question. We'll try and discuss terms with him. Other wingers, left wingers wise, there isn't really any more apart from Tavernier. So let's look at right hand side, and we've got Kyle Bennett, who's out of contract at the end of the season, but he's our best right winger. Are we going to do better than him? How much are we going to have to pay him to keep him? £7,000 a week? No, just no. At his age, I'm not paying him that kind of money. Callum Roberts, whoever he is, he's out on loan. We're paying him a lot of money. I think we probably need to bin him off as well. When's his contract up? He's here for another year. Let's try and bin him off as well to generate some space in the squad. And then lastly, same thing with strikers. We've got a lot of deadwood here. Kieran Langton's not going to be here. I'm not interested in bringing him back. I don't think he's good enough. Stefan Payne is on a lot of money for what he is. At age 30, I think it's time to move Stefan Payne on. So he can go on the transfer list. Adebayo, we never really gave much of a chance to, but he's 24. Not as expensive as he could be, with potential to improve. So I think we keep him. We definitely keep Itafia, and we look to bring in somebody else. That should, if we can get rid of some of those players, firstly, generate us a whole load of extra transfer budget, wage budget, but also might bring in some transfer budget for us as well. So straight away we get an offer for Liotti. Let's just try and squeeze as much money out of these offers as we possibly can. We're skint. We're going to accept them all because we want rid of them, but we want to try and push the offers up as high as we possibly can. So let's start with this one. Try and push them up to what his actual value is. Let's not be cheeky and go further. There you go. They say that's acceptable. No instructions. We'll try and push Rotherham up to the same amount, 325. Can we even do that? Here we go. So 325,000, please, Rotherham. You don't want it? Well, in that case, you ain't having him because we can get more money out of Exeter. Sercombe, I've done non-negotiable straight away, but he's the one who's on £8,000 a week. So, they want us to pay £3,000 a week. I mean, £3,000 a week is better than 8. But how long is his contract? So we'd pay a year of giving him £3,000 a week to not play for us. Fine. I just want the money. Maddox. We've got to force these transfers up a little bit. He's a good player who, the only reason we don't want him is because he doesn't fit into the way we play. So 400,000 for him looks reasonable. Will they do 400,000 as well? They won't. Well, they're not having him then. Simple as that. No offers for those two. So let's ask them to sort their lives out and get out of my club. Bunch of losers. They want him. That's fine. Tavernier, we can't we're not. It's a lot of money, but he's a very good player. I think he'd be a good player to bring in permanently. There's no hideous clauses on there, is there? Yikes. We've got to force some of these down. Yearly wage rise you can't have. We've not got the money for that. No. Oh well. Can't afford him. Bender, can we bring you in? Not a chance he's agreeing to that contract. But we can try. Oh, maybe. Let's just keep pushing everything down. Push it all down. What's he pushing for? He added something on the bottom. That doesn't look unreasonable. Right, I'm going to withdraw the offer for the other keeper because I'd rather keep the one that we already know, who's younger. And by withdrawing for him, that then gives us more money to throw around elsewhere, budget-wise. That's my plan anyway. But hopefully De Silva comes in and we get Bender in permanently. We can then try again with Tavernier once we've got rid of some of these other players and freed up a bit more budget. We were a terrible team and my solution is sign the loans permanently. I know, I'm aware of what's happening. Jasper was only here on loan as well, was he? Well, he wasn't good enough. We talked about him during the season about not being good enough. And hopefully we get a couple of those players leave the club very soon. We want rid of them. We want the money. Right, first and most important player out is Circum. I know we're having to pay him $3,000 a week to make him go, but I'd rather do that, get rid of him and make room in the squad for De Silva. Plus it brings in a little bit of transfer budget. Well, not that we're going to use that. All transfer budget's going to be thrown straight into wage budget. But I'm glad to be rid of him. He was too old and on too much money. And I hate match highest earner clauses. And it does mean we can make this transfer, which, to me, that's the signing of the summer. We've had an offer come in for Stefan Payne now. It's a very, very low offer. We don't want to scare them off. But let's try and get a little bit more money out of them. There you go. That's a bit more reasonable. So we can get rid of him as well. He would go and be Bloomfield's strike partner at Wimbledon because that's where he went when he left Forest Green. So that would be a fun little ex-Kev strike partnership. I'm so glad we've got Josh De Silva, though. He is going to be a superstar for us. If he can be as good for us in the Championship as he was as good for us in League Two with Forest Green, we have a proper player on our hands who plays in the exact system that I want to be able to use next season. And that's awesome. Right, we're getting somewhere now. Jacob Maddox is leaving as well for big money, £400,000 to get him out of the club for a player who, like I say, as much as he was a decent player, he didn't play the way we wanted him to be able to play. We can't really afford a squad spot on a luxury like that. So what does that do to the finances? We've now got even more transfer budget. We're trimming the wage budget down very nicely. Let's stick more of that onto the wage budget. And now we should be able to go back here and start offering some pre-contracts again, which is the little job we were doing previously. We want to get a jump on some of our rivals with some of these players. So right back is an area we definitely need to strengthen. There are none. I mean, that's handy, isn't it? There's a left, Lucas Scavarot. He's not going to be good enough. He was a great player for us for Forest Green, but I don't think he's good enough to make the step back up to the Championship. He proved it with McDonald's that he couldn't handle it at this level. But we do need a striker. Should we go back in again for Jamie Vardy now we've got a bit more money? This would be a ridiculous signing. No, not interested. So Saido Berahino is a potential one. Who is this guy? Kevin Monzialo. He's got a good name. It's a poacher. I can live with a poacher. Decent potential. Juventus under 23s at the moment. I really want to scout this guy a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more. Oh, we're scouting him at the moment. Let's have a look at Saido Berahino, though, because he fits my criteria of players who should have been any good but weren't. We're not going to be able to give him $52,000 a week, though. That's surely not what he's going to ask us for. But There's got to be goals in him. He's not scored for 7 years. There's got to be goals in him. My word, look at the state of that. Why didn't he play at all for 2 years? Should we be worried about that? I feel like that's a bit of a warning sign. How much do you want, Sido? Right, I'm going to stick to my recommended limit of 10,250 and watch him run away. Huh? No, you're not having crazy money. You're not having a yearly wage rise either. My word. Is this just a really stupid piece of business if I do this? Fine, we'll finalise the offer, but that doesn't mean we're definitely bringing him in. I mean, I don't usually look at the attributes, but looking at his attributes, he should be an absolute superstar for us. But why hasn't he been playing? How did he manage 19 games without a goal for Norwich? Why has he been so rubbish for so long? I'm looking at him with rose-tinted glasses because I remember him being very good when he played for Posh years ago. 10 years ago now. That feels like a really dumb piece of business that I think I need to go and sleep on. But I just like the idea of having him, but I can't pay a player 10 grand a week, can I? I mean, seriously. We could have got Jamie Vardy for that, maybe. What's he been up to? Let's see if I can get my director of football to have a better opportunity with Jamie Vardy. We also need wingers. Let's drag myself away from this for a little while. So we want a right winger who can play as a winger. Ooh, none of them can. Yikes. Okay, what can they do then? Are any of these actually right wingers? I don't mind inside forwards. I like an inside forward. I prefer my inside forward on the other side, but I'm not that picky. We've got 4 potential good options there. So this guy is natural on both sides and can play inside forward on the left. He looks like a Kev kind of player. Wesley Jobello. He's going to be better than Tavernier if we can get him in. Oh, he wants so much money. I think we're just going to scare him away straight away with how little we're able to offer him. But again, similar to Berahino, these players are desperate. They want clubs. What have I offered him there that's convinced him to have so little money? What stupid thing have I done on that contract? Top division weight. Well, we're not going to get promoted to the top division. Fine, you can have that. What about on the left? Mind you, he might be our left winger. Did we say no? Did we say he was our left winger? He's our left winger, so we're still looking at right wingers. This guy, Manuel Maras. Oh, inside forward on both sides. Oh, what a world. I like the idea of that. Again, he's much better than what we've got. Been playing in Italy. How much money do you want, sir? More than we can. Right, we're now stuck in that situation when we can't offer contracts again. Okay, let's wait for a few more players to leave. We've got all the loans to go back yet that we're paying money for. We can't sign Jamie Vardy. Never mind. I think that dream is probably done. Yeah, I want rid of Payne. Payne needs to leave. Payne is a pain. Bender, we can't. Oh, we are going to just bring him in. We'll adjust our budget and bring him in. We need Bender. He was a decent keeper for us. He's our all-time best goalkeeper. So Stephen Bender is in permanently. Liotti has rejected an offer. You turd. Just get out of my club. Offer to clubs again. But Remy Street is leaving, which is good because that frees up some more money for us. And we definitely need money freeing up for all these crazy transfers that I'm trying to do. Remember, we've not even looked at loans yet. But these are just the players who are going to be available for free in a couple of weeks' time. So we're setting up free transfers for when they become a thing that we can actually do. And then once we've done all that, we'll try and bring in some loans. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident about this summer already. It's going to be a disaster, isn't it? Berahino is going to be a disaster if I bring him in. But then this is where I wish I was live streaming this. You'd all be telling me not to sign him. I'm certain of it. But it seems fun to me to bring him in. Right, we're going to try and squeeze some more money for this guy again. Go on, give us 200,000 for him. 100, fine, whatever. How's our finances looking? Can we throw some more money at the wage budget yet? Of course we can. Wage budget is what it's all about. We want wage monies. I'm knocking my spectacles off. I'm so excited. Right. I need to make a decision about Berahino. There's going to be better strikers. Plus, we've got Itafia. I've decided this is a stupid idea at 10 grand a week. We no longer want Saido Berahino. We'll go with Adebayo as our striker, as our main man. And maybe even bring someone in on loan. And we'll see what's available when the players are actually released. And I know there's going to be lots of people saying, Kev, look at the players released by other clubs. That's not how we do it in Non-League to Legend. It's not how it works. We can't do that. We can only look at ones who've been scouted. So, Wesley Jobello. This is the guy who can play inside forward on both sides, isn't it? Or he can play wide both sides. I mean, we've really not scouted this guy very much at all, have we? But he's 6 foot tall. He's an inside forward. And he's at least as good as Tavernier, potentially better than Tavernier. We won't know until we've judged him properly. Plus, we're getting him on less than what he just seems like yes, of course we want him. Bring him in. We'll worry about if he's any good afterwards. We get rid of Stefan Payne as well. I think that's a good swap. They're on roughly similar money. That's a good swap we've just made there, I think. That means we now probably don't need Tavernier because we've got our left midfielder sorted. We now need a right-sided midfielder. Central midfield, we've got De Silva coming in. Centre-backs are already fine. We do need a right-back. We need a right-back. This is... Right, what have we got? What else is happening? Are you a right-back? No. Are you a right-back? No. Let's have a look at what we've got. Oh, more players. Players everywhere. Why are they all at Palermo? Have we got someone who used to play for Palermo or something on our scouting team? So, right-backs. There are still no right-backs. Right-back is going to be an issue, it seems. So, right-backs who could potentially come in on loan. Robbie Doherty, who's an 18-year-old right-back. He's not going to be good enough currently, is he? No. Connor Randall was the guy who, is it Sunderland, didn't want to let us have him for another season because we were a divisional rival. We were a divisional rival last year. In fact, Sunderland have been relegated. So we just need to wait for the divisions to readjust and then they don't have their reason not to loan him to us. We might actually be able to get that guy. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yes, Connor Randall's loan is due soon. Yes, I know. But, fingers crossed, once the Sunderland relegation is officially confirmed, because in the negotiations we should be just saying, no, we're not. Did you think we got relegated too? You finished bottom. We escaped. We'll keep him, please. If that was the only reason for not letting us have him. Right. Come on. Let the divisions adjust. And then we're going to grab that player. Right. The divisions have ticked over. We've got our expectations for the coming season. Attempt to avoid relegation. So we're again in the situation where even if we get relegated, I'm probably not going to be sacked. So that's a nice situation to be in. And hopefully we can now extend the loan of Randall. Because we're no longer divisional rivals with Sunderland. This seems mad if that's all we had to wait for. Where is he? Right back. Connor Randall. He's 26. This is mad. A wage contribution of 60%. I mean, yeah, okay. Fine. Because it's still not very much money. It's what we're paying him now. We're not going to find a better right back than that. Right back. Sorted. I don't understand the world anymore. Right, Liotti is gone as well. That's another one off the books, generating so much money. We've got a lot of wage budget to play with now, and it's nearly the 1st of July. This has turned from being a summer where we can't really do anything to a summer where we can do lots. We've sold £1.2 million worth of players. We've got some very good players coming in, and it's only just beginning. This is going to be the summer of Kev. I can feel it. Look what I've just noticed, because his contract's up today. Old James Spruce from back in the day. Yeah, you're not good enough, James. Glenn Roeder's getting a little bit overexcited, and he's made an offer for a player. I mean, he's a Dutch under-21 international. I mean, he looks like a decent option. Not going to argue with this at all. You go ahead, Glenn. Liotti's gone. We've finalised these signings, so I'll add them into our training camp squad, send them on all the relevant courses, give them squad numbers, and anything else that we need to do. Welcome them. Let's welcome them. Welcome to the club, gentlemen. Welcome, Tom. Do we not have to welcome Bender because he was already here? Seems a little bit harsh that he doesn't get a welcome regardless. Yeah, you get welcomed as well. Let's register you all as well. Why not? Get registered. Right, so that makes it 1st of July, 9 a.m. And this is what our first team squad looks like at the moment. Let's get them all on there. Sort by position. So that is our squad. In fact, I mean, it's pretty weak in places. We've got some work. So let's have a look at the team report. So, team report-wise, squad depth. We need another striker. We've only got Adebayo as a proper striker. We've got Jabello, who's in and is our best winger, our only winger, really. So we need a winger. He can play on either side. We need a couple more wingers. Midfield-wise, we've got Smith, we've got De Silva. We probably need another one. We've got Clark and Smith who can play there. Maybe even another 2 central midfielders coming in. But De Silva and Smith, I think, are a decent starting point for a midfield. With Clark in behind, I can live with that. That works for me. Back defensive-wise, I think we're sorted. We've got Folds, we've got Culverwell, who we just turned down a £500,000 offer from Swansea for Culverwell. So this young 19-year-old, he's going to be any good. We've got Randall on loan for another year on the right-hand side. We've got Lockyer, Harries and Pask as centre-backs. We could probably do bringing in a youngster, but Glenn Road has got that covered. Bender's in to be in goal. We could do with a backup keeper who's better than Joe Day. But really, with the money that we've got, which all of a sudden is quite a lot, we've got £25,000-30,000 a week to spend on wages. We need another striker, another winger, and maybe another midfielder, and then we've got a squad. Let's get those free transfers, eh? Here we go then. You know I'm taking a summer seriously and there's a big overhaul going on when we have to resort to a spreadsheet. I don't do this every season anymore, but those of you who've been around for a while will recognise this from previous versions of the game. And what I'm gleaning from this spreadsheet is defensively, we're pretty much there. Bender is a very good goalkeeper. Joe Day is an adequate backup. It would be nice to have a slightly better backup, but by no means essential. We've got 2 top quality centre-backs in Lockyer and Harries, a good backup in Pask, a promising youngster in Joe Fairs. Left back, we've got a very good left back in Matty Folds, a promising youngster as a backup in Carl Culverwell, a very good right back. We could probably do with a decent backup right back. In fact, I'm going to take him out so I remember to go and get one. So one gap maybe in the defence, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we got another defender to replace Joe Fairs. But at the same time, I'm not desperate to go and get one. It'll be the last thing we go and do. We don't really have anyone who's a specialist defensive midfielder, and by that I mean my anchor man, my Rowan Ince player. If we refer back to Forest Green, I want two players who can play as an out-and-out anchor man and just sit and protect that defence. We're the worst team in the division by wage budget. We're going to have a long, hard season. We want to be solid at the back. We're solid here. We need to be solid here as well. And then further forward, I think we've got the makings of a decent midfield. We just have... how has that happened? We just have extra strength in depth that we need. As central midfielders, Smith, Clark and De Silva, they're all fine. It would be good to have one. What I'd ideally like to do is bring one in who's better than all 3 of them, like a mid-table championship quality one, someone who's a 4.5 star player like we've got in some of the other positions. We don't really have that in central midfield, but we've got 3 very decent squad players in central midfield. Callum Roberts is okay as a winger, but he's going to be our backup winger. In fact, let's move him to backup straight away so that I know that he's our backup winger. We'll keep him around because he's got decent potential, although at 25, he isn't fulfilling the potential now. Wesley Jabello, who we've just signed, is our best attacking player. He's an inside forward on that left-hand side, exactly the kind of player that I wanted. Adebayo is a perfectly good striker. Etafia is a very promising youngster. If we can bring in a 3rd championship quality striker, then I'm going to be very happy indeed. So priorities, we want defensive midfielders, we want a star midfielder, we want a right winger, we want a star striker and a backup right back. I think that's doable with the budget that we've got. So priority number 1 is that defensive midfielder. Let's have a look to see what we've got available. Glenn Ray. Half-back, defensive midfielder, anchorman. That's what we're after. 6'1", but we're going to have to pay for him. And that's, I mean, we're not in a position to be able to pay £500,000 for a player. He would be great. He'd be everything we could possibly want. But we're not going to be, I mean, I don't know if he'll come on loan. No. So, not ideal. Same situation with these. We're going to have to pay for them. So, Rowan Ince is available. What is Wayne Rooney doing down at Forest Green? He's 29. I can't bring Rowan Ince in, surely. I tell you what, we'll bring him in on trial and we'll have a proper look at him. We're not going to be signing Rowan Ince to play in that position. He was fine in League Two. This is the Championship now, though. Has he ever played at this level in his career? Briefly for Brighton 10 years ago. We're not signing Rowan Ince, but we'll bring him in as a trialist just because he's my big buddy. He saved Forest Green for us, so he deserves to have an opportunity. But we'll ask the Director of Football to identify some more freebie defensive midfielders for us as well. Let's have a look in central midfield, what we've got as options. Again, nobody who's available for free, really. Brad Potts is the only one. 27-year-old central midfielder who's been at Barnsley but not played for a couple of years. That's weird. Actually, no, so he didn't play at all last year. At all. Did he have a big injury? We saw this with Berahino. Why are players just suddenly going from being regulars to not featuring at all? I don't understand it. We'll bring him in on trial and have a look at him, though, and decide if he's... I mean, he's not going to be the standout Championship midfielder that we were talking about before. Have we got anyone who can come in on loan who can do that? Luca Naumann, who's a 22-year-old German central midfielder, would be a very good signing. That's the kind of standard we're looking for. Will he come on loan, though? Probably not. Oh, actually, hey, he'll do the job nicely, I think. Let's actually have a proper look at him. Not very well scouted, but I mean, he'll do. He'll do in midfield. Will Collar. There's so many of our former Forest Green players who are not at Forest Green anymore. We left 6 months ago. Strikers. Let's have a look at strikers. What can we find in players who can play up front for us? I'm looking for Jamie Vardy. Did he actually get released? He's probably not interested anymore. There he is, look. He's retiring at the end of the season, is he? So surely he'll come and do one season for us if he's retiring. No. Well, that's just not very nice, is it? Is Berahino knocking about as well? Let's bring him in on trial and see if coming in... We can have a proper look at him and then decide if having him on trial, he's willing to come in for slightly less money. No one else really. Kieran Langton's the best loan option by the looks of it. And we all know Kieran Langton isn't good enough for us. Right. To the Director of Football. Show me what we've got in all the positions we need. So, we want a goalkeeper. We want a right back. This is more like it. We're getting players up here now. A centre-back would be handy. We don't need a left-back. We're sorted for left-backs. We definitely need a defensive midfielder, though, of which there seem to be plenty. We want a central midfielder and a right winger. We probably need a backup left winger as well. Ooh. And then a striker. And we're going to do this same thing again for loan players. All of these players we're going to try and bring in on trial and have a look at them. And then we're going to do the same thing with loans and get them scouted and try and fill in these gaps in the squad. I'm happy with the squad we've got at this stage. We've got plenty of money to play with. It's the 1st of July. We've done a lot better than I expected us to do at this for the first part of the transfer window. I'm confident going forward. Right. I was going to say a few days have passed. It's just late at the same day. The trialists are in. Let's go through problem position by problem position, identifying who we've got and who we want to be bringing in. So if we start off with defensive midfielders, which is our biggest area of need in the squad, the best defensive midfielder we've brought in is Jacob Davenport, who's 23 years old. Can he play as an anchorman? He kind of can. In fact, let's try and be grown-ups about it. Let's click on Anchorman and look at his attributes. When did you ever think you'd get Kev looking at attributes, eh? I mean, he's got all the attributes from what I can see to be an anchorman. That seems to work for me. He's a defensive midfielder, natural player there. Has experience at this level. He looks all right. Who else have we got? We want to bring in 2, remember. Teo Eden is a central midfielder who can play defensive midfielder. That's not what we're looking for. We want natural defensive midfielders. So the other one is Liam Bridcut, who wants to be a ball-winning midfielder, but I don't see why he couldn't play as a holding as an anchor man as well. He's also better than Matt Smith. So to me, Davenport and Bridcut seem like the obvious 2 to bring in. Kevin Stewart, are you? I mean, unless he's much cheaper. How much money have we got to play with here? So we've got what, £30,000 a week to play with across however many players we want to bring in. So we don't want to be paying huge salaries. If we, let's say £5,000 per player is what we're looking for. Why is my phone going off again? That's twice this video. I am very upset about this. Now you can see that I went out partway through the video, came back, very unhappy. Right, Davenport. How much are you going to cost me? A reasonable amount. Let's force your reasonable amount. See, signing on fees are horrific. Utterly horrific. That comes out of transfer. That would wipe out our entire transfer budget. Can we just say no signing on fee? Probably shouldn't force the issue. I'm happy with that. Pay him the wage he wants, but just take the signing fee out. That works. So Davenport can be one of our midfielders. And then if Bridcut is cheap enough, he can be in as competition for him. He looks cheap enough to me. Let's do the same trick. But we'll also try and lower his wage a little bit. Why do you need a signing on fee? You're a very wealthy man, Liam. You are going to dig your heels in over this signing on fee, aren't you? There we go. So, Liam Bridcut can come in as well. Move forward to striker. Striker is another area where we really need a real top quality player. Tyler Roberts has 4 caps for Wales already. He's 23 years old. This seems like my kind of player. He's an advanced forward. He was at Leeds. He's never really scored goals for Leeds. It's a bit of a worry. Why is he so good if he can't score goals for Leeds? Is that just an example of how poor we are? He's played for Wales 4 times. He's better than anyone else we've got. How much is he going to cost me? Yikes! It's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. But I guess if he comes in as our best striker, he's worth every penny of a lot of money. We've got to get rid of some of this nonsense, though. Okay. Let's try and take this down a little bit. That went up. That went up. What has happened there? It's because I took the yearly wage rise out. Right, £8,000 a week. That's a big chunk of our budget. But he's going to be our goal scorer. And he's a quick striker, which is exactly what I'm after. I know I shouldn't be looking at another one, especially when he's an attacking midfielder. Just pretend he doesn't exist. And he's a winger, so we're going to pretend he doesn't exist. That's the striker we want to bring in. Right, central midfield then. What have you got for me, central midfielders? Not much that's any good. Teo Eden, we looked at him before. Can he play as a box-to-box midfielder or a ball-winning midfielder in there? He can. That's the type of midfielder we want. He would be the best midfielder in the squad if he came in, which is what we're after. Plus, he can offer cover at that holding midfield position, which we also want. Teo, you're coming in, lad. Magical stuff. This is how you do transfers. This is going too smoothly. Some things are going to go wrong. Right, we need wingers. Right wing, then. Manuel Maras, who is an inside forward who can play on the right. I love an inside forward. He's better than Wesley, which is a good thing. Been playing in Italy. How much are you going to cost me, Manuel? Quite a lot. We're going to have to take this down quite a lot. There we go. No, we said take it down a lot. Take it down a bit. Terrific. Did we have a better... Tyler Roberts can play out there, so can Charles Cook, but we don't want to worry about him. And then as a backup left winger, so this one doesn't need to be as good. We're really looking for someone with potential to come in for the left wing. For example, that guy, Lucas Lort, if he's cheap. We don't want to spend loads of money on him, but he can be our backup to Wesley, but we don't want to pay more than like £2,000 a week for him. Spot on. You can be my backup left winger. but we're going to take this off. And if you're going to be silly, we'll take that away. Bang. What else do we need? Right back. So many of you are so angry with how I'm doing these transfers. I can sense it coming through the screen. Right backs. We only really need a backup. We've got Connor Randall. So similar sort of thing again. We want a youngster with potential. Lee Baldock looks like that youngster. 1.5 star current ability, but 5-star potential ability. Lee, come on in, son. You're not having a yearly wage rise, though. Bang. Sorted. Centre back. Same idea. This could be the most efficient transfer window in history. So we want another defender. Oh, we don't want a 35-year-old, although he is an Italian. Italian defenders are obviously always good. There's not really a defender there for us, so a defender we might have to sit and wait before we decide we've got a defender that we want. And then as a goalkeeper, we've got Bender, so we just need a backup to Bender. So similar sort of thing. We want someone with potential who's fairly cheap. This guy, LOLLUJO. If he's less than £2,000 a week, he's my backup keeper. That is a perfect amount of money to be paying him as a backup goalkeeper. That will do nicely. Right. Let's see how many of them actually sign and what it does to our wage budget. Breaking news. All of a sudden, Saido Berahino wants less money. Now, I'm a little bit worried because the other striker was the only one we found who was actually interested. So let's just see if we can get him without... I want Berahino there as an insurance. He's not my first choice. Tyler Roberts is my first choice striker. But if he goes elsewhere, I want Berahino there as a backup option to bring in. And we will end up with Berahino, but for £4,000 a week less than we previously agreed with him, which to me seems like cracking business if he obviously comes in and ever scores a goal for us, which is asking a lot when he doesn't ever score goals anymore. Okay, slight problem. All these contracts we've agreed. Kev thinks he's a genius. We can't sign any of them. And it's not because of the signing on fees. It's because of the stupid agent fees. We need £16,000 to sign LOLLUJO. We have nothing in our transfer budget. And we've massively overcommitted on potential thingies. Board, give me more transfer money. I need we've got loads of money in the bank. Yeah, you haven't got... Oh, I've messed up. Kev's messed up. It seems so unlikely, but it's happened. I don't know what to do. We're not going to sign any of them. Oh, no. We've signed Baldock without me having any intervention in it. I don't know why that's happened. Oh, dear. I don't know who Alex Gordon is. Glenn Roeder's making offers for players. I mean, they might be good. He actually, I mean, to be honest, he's quick, isn't he? Potentially. I'm going to have to cancel all of these. Cancel the non-essential ones in the hope that it frees up money for what I would consider the essential ones. The essential one is the striker. I love a striker. We can come back for others at a later date, maybe. Oh, how have I done this to myself? Right, we've got Luca Naumann in. So we have 4 midfielders now, which is important to have 4 midfielders. So assign a squad number. Why am I assigning a squad number to him? It's like the least important thing in the universe. Register him for the squad. And I mean, I'm so annoyed. I mean, he looks like a good defender, but I can't offer any more contracts at the moment. I need to adjust the budget, but I can't because we've got offers in. I've messed this up royally. Oh my word, this is devastating stuff. No, we just have to go back. Tyler Roberts wants to... Right, we've got to say yes to that one. And everyone else we've got to try and just say no to so we can adjust budgets around. Right, so we can sign these two. Okay. So he was a winger, a backup winger. Right, we can bring him in. So some of them have got no fees attached. Liam Bridcut is a good signing. You need to learn to speak the language, and we'll welcome you in. And then you can go into the training camp squad. We'll welcome you in. So it's not all disaster. We'll just have to wait and see what else goes wrong, and then see what the state of the squad is, and go back in for some of these players maybe once we've adjusted the budgets. What a buffoon! This is why you don't convert your whole transfer budget into wage budget, kids. Learn from Kev. Don't do what I did. Do better. Oh. Right, I'm gonna. Have we got any more that we're still waiting on? We want ones that we're waiting to confirm. So, can we get him through? Let's ask for confirmation now. How do we do that? There used to be an ask for confirmation. Although we've delayed it for a week. Does that actually fully delay it for a week now? I thought we could bring that confirmation forward again. So if he's the only one we're still waiting on, how does that take us over our wage budget? Oh, because we've got Berahino as well. We need to cancel him. I'll figure this out. Right, we cancelled Berahino. We are now able to confirm the signing of Tyler Roberts. That worries me. His goal scoring record does worry me, but he looks good. Let's just throw money at him. There you go. Tyler Roberts is our new main man up front. He has to make sure he doesn't let us down. He's our new main striker. And what has that done to the state of the squad? Let's look at what we've got after that shenanigans and work out what we still need to strengthen. I don't even know who we avoided there. So we didn't get a backup keeper. We do have our our defence is still solid. We could do with a right back. It's not the top priority in the world. We did sign that youngster who could slot in there if need be. I think we're probably okay for defensive midfielders. Bridcut as our first choice with a couple of options as backups. Rowan Ince knocking around the squad still on trial. Central midfield, there are a couple of players here who could improve what we've got. Brad Potts is a box-to-box midfielder. I do like a box-to-box midfielder. And Paul Coots is a playmaker. I don't want Paul Coots. But this guy could be very handy. We might come back to him. We've got Roberts as a first choice. Adebayo, we've got the youngster as well, Atafia. I don't think we need a third striker unless he's dirt cheap. We might look at him. Left wing, we've got Jabello. We could do with a backup. Right wing, Jabello. So we need wingers. Wingers are a priority. Glenn Roeder is faffing about with wingers, though. He's got business going on all of his own. I don't really know what he's up to. But he's got loan players that he's trying to bring in. Where are we? So he's got Alex Gordon, who's a loan player from Liverpool, who's a right winger, and Ben Marshall, who's both a winger and a right back cover. Both of them would be brilliant signings. Just leaving Glenn Roeder to it. Let him go about his business. He's going to be so expensive. Glenn Roeder knows what he's doing, clearly. And then we probably... How are we doing for finances? We need a winger. We need a winger. And we need a midfielder, probably. But our midfield, we don't want to be super fancy in midfield. I'm thinking in terms of how effective the midfield was at Forest Green. That's the kind of midfield we want to build. So if we pick a squad, so we need to get all our players in. So let's pick our team based on what we've got. Forget team reports. Let's actually pick a side. So we know Tyler Roberts is our striker. We know this guy goes in there. We know De Silva is there. I mean, you could easily have Smith there. And then Bridcut there. See, this is taking shape. This is a decent looking midfield. The defence is already sorted. In goal, we've got Bender. So top priority is a right winger. Because I think the rest of that is there. We could do with a couple of backup players in a few positions. But priority number one is a right winger. So, scouted players, right wingers. Of course, we've got those ones potentially coming in on loan. Glenn Roeder could be perfecting the squad here. This was the guy we liked before, wasn't it? But he's old and expensive. I might just wait and see what happens with these two that Roder's looking at. He might be finishing off the squad beautifully, in which case we'll just sign a backup goalkeeper and call it a job well done. Although we've got trialists coming in all the time and it's going to be hard to ignore all of these. So Ben Marshall might well be coming in. What am I looking at? I wanted to know. There was something I wanted to check. Oh, dynamics was what I wanted to check. Just want to make sure we're not absolutely destroying our dynamics with all these players that are coming in. We're doing all right at the moment. Awesome. Right, this feels like a good opportunity to have another look at the spreadsheet. And this is how it's looking. Things are looking pretty good, especially when you consider Glenn Roeder is potentially filling that slot and that slot for me. That leaves me just needing another defensive midfielder, although to be fair, every single one of those can play defensive midfielder, as can Josh Pask. So it's a spot that if we don't fill it, it's not the end of the world. And we could potentially bring in a more attack-minded midfielder if that's what comes up. So the only thing I really need to go out and find for myself is a defender. Who, I mean, it doesn't even a second choice defender. How much money have we got left? So money-wise, we've got £10,000 a week to spend. Goes down to maybe 7,000 once these two come in, assuming they do come in. I think the first thing we need to do is see if they come in. Hopefully they do, and they're any good. And then it's just a case of finding that defender, and ideally a centre-back who could also play as an anchorman would be perfect. Yes, I'm looking for ways to change for the better. Yes, we're great. Yes. Yeah, I don't know why I'm making you watch this. Yes, remarkably, this is my 7th signing. Have we met, members of the press? That is, especially when I threatened a massive rebuild and sold £1.3 million a player, that is not even close to a remarkable number of signings. I feel I've been incredibly restrained with what I've done so far. Okay, it's taken me until the 13th of July to realise just what's going on here. But of course, this is the year we're having the mid-season break for the World Cup. The championship season starts on the 16th of July. We've got friendlies mixed in with it still. Our first league game is 3 days away. All of a sudden, I'm a little bit more panicked than I was before. You can see there where the league just stops from the 2nd of November through till Boxing Day. Boxing Day is the first game back, so that's when the World Cup is happening. But we are starting our season, like, now. And all of a sudden, can we panic now? Is there a transfer window? I don't know how the transfer window's going. That's not. I'm trying to look at the league. Show me the league table, for goodness sake. Let me see the league table. Where's the transfer window? Transfer window. It's squad registration. Must be registered on the 1st of September. So there is still the 1st of September transfer window, but that's going to be 2 full months. It's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games into the season. The transfer window is going to close. This is like the good old days. This is going to be mad. I have no idea how to prepare for this. And we still don't have a right winger. And we play in 3 days. Oh, no. No. Forget that. I have how many of the transfer windows in a week? Get me the phone. I need 2 phones. Right, not that I'm panicking at all, because that would be silly, but this guy's just come in on trial. Yes, he's 33 years old, but he's almost as good as the defenders we've got. He's better than Josh Pask, and most importantly, doesn't want a lot of money. So, in the circumstances, I think we're just going to try and sign him. I need Glenn Roeder to hurry up with the 2 wingers. If he doesn't, there is this guy as an option who's just come through as a scout report. He is 32, but he is a right winger. Yes, he's nothing spectacular, but he did have a very good season in League One last year. So, there's that. Right, here we go. Ben Marshall's coming in. We're putting a lot of faith in Glenn Roeder here, because that guy, he's not scouted. I've not signed him, but he's my backup right back and potential starting right winger. What was that? I was going to say future fee clause. That's fine. I was hoping. Glad we don't actually have to pay for him, because I don't want to sign a 31-year-old permanently. But he can play on the right-hand side of midfield. He can play as a right winger. He can play as a right back if needed. I mean, he's nothing spectacular, but at least we've got cover there and a player who can play there. I kind of hope we do still get the lad from Liverpool, who presumably is going to be a better winger. Again, he's not scouted, but I'm trusting in Glenn Roeder. That guy filled 2 squad spots that we needed. Hopefully the other one will fill really the big gaping squad spot that we've got left at this point. Although it doesn't look that promising. Why is it taking him so long? Alex Gordon. Has he actually been scouted yet? I mean, we have asked for him to be scouted a couple of times. That's a weird shape. I'm just going to assume he's good and hope he signs. But it's taking forever. I thought I'd had such a good summer. And then it all went wrong. Because of apparently the under-23s having a game today and taking half of my players. How do I even show you their fixtures? I can't do it from there. I have to go to here, don't I? So the under-23s have played... They kicked off at 2:30. Bender's in the team. I mean, are you serious? Roberts came on in the 67th minute. He came on as a substitute after our match has kicked off. Adebayojo's there. Jabello played the last 17 minutes and now can't play today. Our team for the first game of the season is going to be an absolute disaster. If I hit quick pick, it literally can't pick me a goalkeeper. There is not a goalkeeper available. This is very, very problematic. There you go. If we put all the squads on and then hit quick pick, we've got Jokal Andresen who can play in goal for us. It's suggesting Josh De Silva is on the left wing because presumably he's the only player we've got who's even remotely capable of playing there who's available. Oh no, Ben Marshall can, but of course he has to play on the right wing. He literally is the best option we've got. Etafia is the only striker we've got available. I think some mistakes have been made here. And you'll discover how I got myself out of this pickle on tomorrow's episode, where we will summarise our summer of transfers and play our first game of the new season against Middlesbrough. I can't do it. I'm so very disappointed in myself right now. I might just play this game and do the next episode after the transfer window closes. I think that might be fairer. You know what? We'll leave it as a mystery. I might show you the Middlesbrough game. I might show you the Cardiff game or the Preston game. I don't know what. I can't believe this has happened. It's all gone wrong. I might just resign now. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.